Today I'm going to talk to us a little bit about line printers. And to start off with, I think it's important that we understand why they're called line printers and what's at the core of these mechanisms. And so let me show you the actual print mechanism that defines a line printer. This is actually the print shuttle and is the backbone of the line printer that we use today. And as you might be able to see, just watching, this is actually a fairly heavy device. It's not that easy to pick up. This is the backbone of the printer and is what defines and creates such a high reliability device. The shuttle mechanism is all made out of cast iron, steel, cast aluminum, cast part steel, and very high reliability components that really is impervious to operating in high humidity, ultra dry conditions, hot conditions, cold conditions. It really doesn't care if there's dust or contaminants out there, and it really doesn't care if you throw thousands and thousands of pages at it. It would not be uncommon for a printer like this to print 1 million pages in a year without any trouble. And this is at the center of the line printer. It's called a line printer because it actually prints an entire row of dots, and it's a little bit difficult to see, but these are all hammers with that will provide one entire row of dots per stroke, and then as the paper moves up, it will actually paint an image of dots down the page. Very robust technology. Now, this mechanism is used in every single line printer that we have. Okay? So what defines it is the number of hammers on the print mechanism itself. If you put fewer hammers, you'll create a slower mechanism. If you put more hammers, this happens to be at 2,000 line a minute, you get a high-speed mechanism. The product is basically grouped into 4 different basic speeds: 500 line a minute, 1,000 line a minute, 1,500, and 2,000. All of them use the same robust mechanism. Of course, the higher speed will have more hammers, has a bigger power supply because it will take more energy to move the paper that fast and to move all those hammers at the same time. Some additional electronics on the controller, but fundamentally the electronics is completely the same and the mechanism is the same between these guys. So if we go down to a 500 line a minute printer, we're not in any way reducing the quality of the printer, reducing the reliability. We're just basically, it's not going to have the same throughput. So the question becomes, why is this mechanism so valuable? Why is this super rugged, ultra duty cycle mechanism so valuable in the business enterprise? And that's because these printers are targeted at the business critical applications. And now let me explain what a business critical application means. Probably many of us are familiar with printing. We maybe print to our office MFP printer, a memo that we think we want to have on file or something like that. But if we get there and the copier's jammed and it didn't really print, you know, maybe I don't need to print it. Maybe I'll just look at it on my computer screen, or I'll print it tomorrow or something like that. That's not true with every type of form that's used in the business environment. So for example, if I'm loading valuable merchandise on a truck and I'm going to let this truck leave with that merchandise, I want a record of what I've just put on there. So I've just put on $100,000 of merchandise, which is comprised of these 50 items, blah, blah, blah. The truck driver is going to be taking possession of these items. He's going to want to know what he's taking on because ultimately now he's going to be responsible for it until it gets to the next spot. We're going to have a bill of lading that documents very precisely what goes onto that truck, and we all mutually agree that that's what's in there. If that document doesn't print, I'm not going to let that truck go. And if that document doesn't print, that truck driver isn't going to take those goods, and we're stuck. Okay? Now, when we're stuck, that means suddenly my customer is not going to get the products, I'm not getting paid, the truck driver is not driving, everything about the business process stops. In that environment, what is most important is that you just absolutely avoid that downtime. And the way to avoid that downtime is you have this ultra robust mechanism that can print every day over and over again with no forms waste. And that's why this printer remains such a viable part of the business chain of goods today, because of the business